Okay, so I left this overnight, and today I want to finish the cover. So I was thinking between these two washes to use on the spine, and I think I'm going to go with the salmon pink, and I'm going to apply that before I start with the illustrations, just so that I have a better idea where to place them. So I'm going to leave a little bit at the bottom and the top for tacking in, probably around this much should be enough. And let's go ahead and tack it in. So I'm just lifting the cover and I'm placing it right here. I'm doing the same on the top. Okay, so that should be enough, and then I'm bending it because it's obviously going to move as it is stretching, and then I'm just pressing it back into place, and that should be enough. And then whenever there's going to be more movement, it will crease a little bit, but that's nothing to be, I mean, you can't really do anything about it. Okay, so I have picked my Micron 01 to do the illustrations in, and so I think, okay, so I decided to use the Jane Davenport stencil, the floral stencil that I bought on Amazon, and I'm going to place it so that it's partially on the watercolor and partially on the gesso, and just going to stencil it really quickly. I'm not sure whether I should outline the double lines. I quite like actually the freedom you have. So I'm just going to loosely outline the petals and the leaves of the flower, and I don't think, maybe I'll do here, but I don't think I will do the double lines. I'm just going to keep it quite loose, so to speak. I'm going to do a bit of a, here I am going to do that just because it's the center of the flower. I do want it to be a bit, come out a bit more stronger, and so that's what I'm going to do. It's so simple with these stencils. Really, there is no need for any precision at all. Just made simple for you. Okay, so here's the last one. So here is the loose stenciling. So what you could do is you could follow the double lines and make it thicker, and then either make these lines quite thick and black, or you could use some watercolor inside the lines. It's really up to you what you do with it, but I like this sort of loose element of it, and I'm going to just go ahead and kind of do my own line work. Just to finish it, and I'm just going to, where I want to emphasize a bit more, I'm just going to add these kind of squiggles and curves of the leaves just to make it a little bit more realistic. And I'm going to repeat the line work. As you can see, it's harder to write. Which one did I take? That's the 01. Yeah, it's harder to write on gesso with your fine liners because gesso is so super textured, compared to the smooth papers that these fine liners are designed for, that it's not this crisp black line. But I have ordered the bulletproof ink, the nucleus ink, I think, and so I'm waiting for that, and I'm quite intrigued whether that will work, because it's supposed to be a super black ink, and it is hopefully not going to be transferring. It's hardly coming out now, so I'm just going to try and find a piece of paper to write it out and to get the ink flowing again. So you just kind of do like that, and then the ink starts coming out, and that should last for a little while. It's just because the gesso is such a dry and rough texture. Okay, so over here I'm just going to create these kind of curving of the petals. So this one I used from the stencil, and if I want a little bit of a more natural line, I can just go over it. And then I'm also going to connect these petals together. So I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to do the line work over here. Just like that. Let's see, I think this petal could look quite beautiful with a bit of a curl to it. Just like that. And a little bit on the side here. So that instantly gives it more dimension and makes it more interesting like that. And it doesn't look like a stencil. It starts to look like you did it yourself, like this, like you painted the flower yourself. So there is this little bit right here which I'm going to connect and make look like a curve again, a little here, like that, and one quite organic looking over here. And there's something missing just there, and I will probably, well, I'll just actually just give it a few creases like that, and that should be enough. Okay, I'm just going to add a few more of these kind of squiggles. And then I'm just going to finish off the last leaf here on top. At the back, I want to, as it's basically, let me just zoom out quickly. So I've gone ahead and finished this leaf right here. So because it's a cover, I want it to be something similar looking at the back, but not as strong because it's the back cover. So I'm going to use the same side of the stencil. And these look like magnolia flowers to me, so I think this was a magnolia flower. I might be wrong, but it looks like magnolia. So I'm going to use this stencil on the other side like that. And I will think of the placement. I quite like that, actually, sort of like that. I think that works quite well. So it's going to be also partially on the watercolor bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've just finished doing the stenciling. It really is super fun to do it, and as you saw, I have taken these simple lines and kind of worked it slightly further to make it look kind of more natural, and so I have kind of added some lines around the top of the petals right here, just to make it look more kind of like, yeah, like I did it myself, like I drew myself. So that kind of breaks up those you know, rigid lines of a stencil, and adding a bit of line work, that always makes it a bit more interesting, and it's coherent with the front cover because it's the same sort of style, and I really like that. So essentially that's the front cover, and then when I would flip to the end, that's the end cover, and it looks really pretty. So one thing to say is that you have to be careful, because while the ink is still wet, it does transfer, as you can see on my finger, so you have to be careful not to smear when you put on top, put your finger on top. So ideally you should use like a piece of paper or something that you just kind of rest your hand on as you do the lines, and that's it. So once it dries, this ink did not move or didn't go anywhere. So I'm actually I think I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm quite happy with the way it looks. I don't think I was going to add my illustration on these flowers just to kind of bring it slightly further, but I think I quite like it, and I will stop here. I just don't want to overdo it. So this is my cover, and yeah, I'm quite happy with the result. So hopefully you enjoyed the process, and thanks for watching. See you soon.